How to make sure your clients win through goal setting. I'm Dr. Michael Lee here, performance coach, and thank you for joining me today because the answer may actually surprise you. Because let's just ask you this question. How many of you have done goal setting before, right? And you're probably thinking, if you have, thank you for letting me know, because the fact is that if you've done goal setting, you might have done it when you did something like a New Year's resolution. And just think about it. When people do New Year's resolutions, it's either like losing weight, getting fitter, getting stronger, or whatever it may be. Or they may set other goals. It may be something to do with wealth, or it might be to do with relationships, or they want to learn a new skill. But the fact is that they say about over 90% of people fail just within the first month. And just think about it, if you're one of those people, or if you've ever failed a goal, you'll be thinking, I feel really guilty, and why did I even set that goal in the first place? And then ultimately you get to the point where you say to yourself, I'm never going to set a New Year's resolution again. How many can relate with that? Right? Because what we don't like as humans is doing like failing. But essentially, it's not that the goal setting was done badly, because we all have the right intentions of whether losing weight, getting wealthier, improving relationships, upskilling ourselves with new skills. But the fact is that why do we behave so badly when we experience failure, or when things don't go to our plan? So it's got nothing to do with actually what the goal is, because that goal will always serve us well anyway. The real question is that, did we just set ourselves up for failure? Because just think about it. If I could say to you, whatever goal I set to you, for you, you're going to win at 100%. Guaranteed. How many of you would bite my hand off? Yeah. Most of you say, yeah, I want that from you, Michael. If you can guarantee that off me, then I want that from you. Because the thing is, I can guarantee those goals. And you're probably thinking, how? Because it actually comes down to creating the structure of goal setting, because so many people do goal setting so badly. That's why they keep failing over and over and over and over again. And when you keep failing over again, what tends to happen is that they give up and they feel like a failure, and then they never set goals up again, right? But the fact is, there's a system in terms of how you set goals. And the first thing is this. Some of you may have heard of SMART goals. I'm not going to go through that system, because yes, that's an acronym in terms of how to set your goals, but it still doesn't go through the steps on how to actually execute the goals. Because this is the biggest, number one problem is this. Most people fail at goal setting is because of this. They make the goal so big, they don't have any time frames or even time stamps of where the small pieces are completed, which then add up to the big piece. Because this is the second biggest problem is this. When the goal is too big and there's no timestamps or smaller chunks of goals, they go into something called overwhelm. And when they're overwhelmed, guess what happens? They end up doing nothing. They experience something called procrastination. How many of you have heard of procrastination? Or how many procrastinate? Yes, the ones who are not participating, you're still thinking about putting your hand up because you're a procrastinator too. Because the thing is that if you know what procrastination is, it's the people that find it really difficult to get started. But the question is, why do they find it so difficult to get started? The reason why is because they get really emotional. The emotion controls them. That's why they get so focused on the emotion, they lose focus on actually the task. No matter how big or how small the task is, they lose focus, and then they allow the emotion to control them. And then guess what happens? Nothing creates nothing. How many can relate? Yeah. If you can relate with this, just put me in the chat, because if you have not put me, I need to find out where the liars are, because everyone has been through this. Because I haven't met anyone that says to me, hey, I did it the first time and it was amazing. And each time I felt like I needed to do a goal, I crushed it the first time I did it. No one's ever done that. They had to learn. So the first step that we need to do is, whatever the big goal is, because you do need to have the big goal. Whether it is, if it's for your health, for example, I want to be able to run a marathon, or whether it's for wealth, I want to generate $1 million, euros or pounds a year. Whether it's your relationships, I want to get married to my partner, or my lifelong partner. Or maybe I want to learn how to play guitar. I want to play drums. I want to learn how to build things. I want to be really handy with hands. Whatever the goal is, it has to be so specific, and it has to be a big goal. But once you have the big goal, then you have to be asking yourself, why do you want the goal? Why do you want to achieve it? Because if the why isn't big enough, people don't get started. Because generally, there's this famous saying in psychology, if the why is big enough, the how becomes easy. Because then you understand deep inside of you, you understand why it means a lot to you. So maybe I want to do this, I want to build this garden house for my children so they can have fun with their friends. I want to be able to play guitar so I can serenade my wife every night because it makes her happy, it makes her feel loved. I want to be able to generate so much money per year so it gives me financial independence and financial freedom just so that I can choose to do what I want when I want with the people that I love. So all these are all viable reasons, but it's still not asking the question of the how, because we want to make sure all of your clients win and also that you win too. So the next thing you need to think about, you have the big dream, the big thing, and now you need to get that time frame and then think about how do you work backwards. How long is it going to take? Is it going to take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? How long is it going to take? And then work backwards. You think, okay, for the last bit of this, whether it's going to be the last year or half year, I'm going to achieve that. Then work half year after that, I'm going to achieve that. And then you're going to working backwards until you get to today. Then you've certainly created the roadmap. But the key thing here is once you have the roadmap, they're in smaller chunks. Then you have to have the agreement with your clients that you're going to check in and be accountable for that roadmap, that they're going to do exactly what they've written down at exactly the right deadline so that they are consistently moving forwards. Because always remember, if you've got a roadmap of 1,000 or 1,000,000 steps, if you take one step, it's already one step closer to the goal. But if you never take that step, because a lot of people never do take the step, they're exactly where they are many years into their future. But always remember this as well. There's also a famous saying in psychology that, if you ever want to learn something, you want to achieve something, it takes 20 hours. Only 20 hours. Learn anything. I'm not saying to master it, because 80% of mastering any skill actually occurs in the first 20 hours. Then actually, the last 20% takes a lot longer. But if that takes a lot longer, that's fine, because you've already learned the basics. In that first 20 hours, you would learn a lot about that skill. But this is the real problem, is that there's a lot of people, they spend their entire lifetime just starting the first hour. That's why they never get started. The procrastination or the resistance or the emotion takes them out. So they never actually get started. And when that happens, they are exactly where they are today and also 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years into the future because they procrastinated, because the emotion took them out. But this is where you need to always, when you're challenging your clients, ask them, why do you want it? What is the big goal? What are the bite-sized chunks? And do we have an agreement we're going to check in? Because if you don't check in, now it's the last rule, there is a consequence. And if you're a coach, you have to be real with your consequence, because if you give them a consequence and you don't execute the consequence, you become a weak leader. You become a weak coach, because the whole purpose of a coach is making sure your word is law. And you're holding the context, because your rules need to be set in stone so that they take you seriously. If you don't set them in stone and you don't actually abide to your own rules, they won't respect you. So there has to be a consequence, and you agree that consequence with your clients. Wherever it is, okay, if you don't achieve this, then you have to do X, Y, Z. Usually, it's a monetary fine. That's what I'd do. I'd give a monetary fine. The reason why it's a monetary fine, so if they have a money goal, then it's going to be a monetary fine because they're related. So I want to make money, but then they're thinking I don't want to lose money. Because if they're going to lose money, they're getting further with the goal, but they have to learn from their lesson. But make sure your fines are related to their goal. If it's health, okay, so if it's health, then they lose their treat for the week. Because everyone has a cheat day, right, or cheat meal. They lose the cheat meal for the week. For example, if it's learning a new skill, then you just take away something that they love doing. Maybe it's a playtime. Maybe it's gaming time, whether it's social or something that they love doing. And then they have to make up that work so that they learn from the lesson. So I really hope that you found this live really helpful. If you've got any questions about how to refine your own goals, just put them into the chat. I'm more than happy to help you. But essentially, this whole month is all about talking about success. And I've dealt with lots of athletes, whether they're Olympians winning gold, silver, and bronze, or whether it's celebrities or working in Hollywood. I've helped them become successful and optimize their health. That's why I actually created a 10-day health and success challenge. And the challenge itself is actually not only it's me showing up for 10 days teaching you for over an hour in terms of all the secrets that I've learned over the last 20 years of how treating these high performers and making sure they consistently operate their best anywhere, any place, in any environment. But I give you my experience in those bite sizes. So it's over 10 hours of training. I think it's even closer to 15 hours of training where I will help you understand what top athletes get and top performers get to succeed and optimize their health. Because when their vehicle and their health is at its best, everything's at their best. If you're interested in terms of learning how to optimize your body so that it guarantees success, just put yes into the chat, or put success into the chat. That'll be easier. Put success into the chat, and one of my team will send you the link, because we have a very special offer in terms of those who are doing it this month, so that they can optimize their bodies, their minds, so that they win in everything that they touch. But again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope that you found today's live very helpful but interesting too. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Bye for now.